Hello dear students, good morning to you all. In the previous class, students, we have discussed about the civil liabilities. So liability of an auditor, that is civil liability of an auditor for negligence and for misfeasance. Okay, so connected to that, we have also gone through many case studies. Today's class we will be discussing about the criminal liabilities of an auditor. So we will discuss criminal liability of an auditor under Companies Act 1956 and Chartered Accountants Act. Okay. So what is criminal liability all about? Okay. So when an auditor, okay, he does some act wrongfully, that is, there is a criminal liability of an auditor. It usually arises because of certain misrepresentation of fact. Okay, that is, he may not show the correct and true fact. Okay, or he may go for falsification. That is, he is aware of the fact, but still he is trying to cover it. That is, he is trying to show a good picture of the company, which in reality, it is not as such. Okay. Or he may give a false certificate. He may issue a false certificate. Okay, that is not acceptable by the law. Okay, so law has imposed certain duties and responsibility for an auditor, which he should comply accordingly. But when he goes against it, that is when there is breach of trust or the duty that is imposed by law, definitely it results into criminal liability of an auditor. Okay, so if he makes any false statement or which is not acceptable to the company, which is against the company, so if he makes any false statement or if any documentary evidences he tried to destroy, okay, see every transaction there are documentary evidences. So if he tried to remove a particular entry and along with it, if he tried to destroy the documentary evidences, okay, so any such act of an auditor, it is definitely going to result into criminal liability, because these acts are done with the intention of deceiving the other people. Deceiving in the sense trying to give a wrong picture about the company. So here the intention is to deceive other people. So auditor is aware of this and still he does this wrongful act, and this is going to result into criminal liability. Okay, so when an auditor is criminally liable for an offense, okay, any offense is carried out by him, and if he is held liable for that, then he is held liable not only just to the client but also to the state. Okay, he is carrying out his wrongful act and he is betraying not only the client but also the state. So the penalty for such criminal act, such criminal liability of an auditor, it is a fine. A fine may be imposed by the law for carrying out such a wrongful act. That is, maybe he had done some misrepresentation of facts, or maybe there is a false statement given by him intentionally. Okay, purposefully he is giving some false statement. So he is actually betraying the organization, isn't it? So the penalty for such criminal liability is either a fine that is imposed by the law, or there might be imprisonment, and in certain cases there might be both. There might be fine also and there might be imprisonment also. Okay, so this is a brief introduction about the criminal liability of an auditor. Okay, so now in what all cases auditor can be held criminally liable, we will discuss. So as discussed earlier, it is a duty of an auditor that he has to give a statement in the prospectus regarding the profit and loss of account, regarding the what we call the balance sheet, okay, regarding various other accounts. So he has to give a statement. But if intentionally, that is knowingly, if an auditor gives a wrong statement, a false statement, an untrue statement in the prospectus, okay, then he is criminally liable for such an act. Okay, he is aware of it, but still he is giving a false statement in the prospectus, because such false statement, and that too by an auditor, it is definitely going to affect the company a lot, okay, badly affect the company, because it is a statement given by an auditor. Because people, they usually tend to believe what the auditors say. If the auditor has given a good response, people will blindly believe it. If auditor is giving a negative remark, definitely people tend to believe it, and this is going to affect the company. Okay, so intentionally, if the auditor gives a wrong statement in the prospectus, then he is criminally held liable, and the penalty, the punishment for such an act, that is under section 63, for giving a misstatement in the prospectus, he will be jailed for a term of 2 years. Okay, he will be in prison, he will be behind the bars for 2 years, and also there will be a fine of rupees 5,000. And in at cases, if the company is adversely affected because of the statement of the auditor, in certain cases there also might be both. There might be 2 years term also, at the same time there might be a fine of rupees 5,000 also. So students, you might think that 2 years and 5,000, there is no comparison, isn't it? The 5,000 fine is affordable, whereas 2 years jail term is not affordable. But according to these are the laws imposed, these are the and is imposed by the law. Okay, so there might also be a fine, or there might also be a imprisoned, and in certain cases there might be both. Okay, then under section 68, fraudulently inducing person to invest money. Okay, so if here the auditor, he is trying to give a good picture about the company, and he is trying to convince a person to invest in a particular company. The company whose books of account he is auditing. So here auditor, what he does is, he is trying to convince another party, a third party, to invest their money into the company. See, company, if it is good condition, okay, fine. Even if he convince, it's not a problem, because that person, if he invests the money, definitely he will get good returns. But if the company is not in good terms, and still if he is fraudulently telling him that company is really in good condition, it is really making a very good profit, and you will make a good money out of it. If such statement, okay, if he is promising a investor that if you invest in company, you will get a big amount, you will earn a good amount of profit. So telling this, he is fraudulently convincing a person. Inducing means convincing a person to invest his money. Okay, so such cases, the auditor again, he will be held criminally liable, because he is giving a statement that is false and misleading. Okay, he is trying to convince a person to invest money in a company which may not be in profit. Okay, he is misleading the person, he is giving him the wrong information, and his intentions are not good. Auditor's intentions are not good, because he is not revealing the facts, what is the exact position of the company. He is just telling that the company is in good condition, and if he invests in the company, he is going to make a good amount of profit, good returns will be there for him. So here the person, he is forced, we can say, intentionally. The auditor knows, is aware of the status of the company, but still he is asking the person to invest his money into the company. Okay, so in this case, because the auditor is aware about the material facts of the company, but still he has tried to mislead the person to invest the money. So in such case, the auditor, he will be held criminally liable, and in such cases he'll be imprisoned. There is a punishment, that is, he'll be jailed for 5 years, or there might be a fine of rupees 10,000. Okay, in certain cases, as I've said, if the things are getting worse, then that definitely there might be both. There might be a imprisonment of 5 years. At the same time, there also might be the what we call a fine of rupees 10,000. Okay, to both it might be there. Okay, So this is under section 68, fraudulently inducing a person to invest money. Okay, who is trying to fraudulently invest? The auditor who has taken up the audit work of the organization. Okay. Next, under section 233, auditor is supposed to comply with the sections 227 and 229 of the Companies Act. Okay. If auditor does not comply with this both the sections, okay, the requirements of both the sections, that is making his report, okay, properly preparing his report and also signing and authenticating of any document. So if this act is not properly done, okay, if the auditor fails to comply with the section of 227 and 229 of the Companies Act, then he is considered criminally liable and he is punished with the fine of rupees 1000. It may extend up to 1000. Okay. Again, he has to assist investigation. Suppose if the central government have appointed an inspector to go to the company and carry out certain inspection. So when the inspector, when he visits the organization, it is the duty of the auditor to assist him, if whatever help he wants, inspector wants, it is the duty of the auditor to provide him with the required details. Okay, that is, he has to assist him. Okay, but if the auditor fails to carry out his duty, that is, if he fails to help to provide assistance to the inspector who has got into the firm to maybe to investigate certain affairs of the organization, okay, he is sent by the central government. So if the auditor fails to assist such inspector, then there is imprisonment, because he is held criminally liable. The auditor is held criminally liable. So in such cases, there is a punishment, that is, he'll be jailed for 6 months, and at the same time there also might be a fine of rupees 10,000. Okay, and in certain cases it might be both. There will be a jail term of 6 months along with the fine of 10,000. Okay, so under section 240, the auditor is supposed to assist the inspector, and in case of failure he is going to be held criminally liable. Okay, so an auditor is held criminally liable under section 242 for the failure to assist the prosecution of a guilty officer. See, when the central government has deputed one of the inspector to look into the affairs of the organization, okay, and if the inspector has found certain officer guilty, okay, in that case the report will be submitted by the inspector to the central government. Okay, he will submit a report to the central government, and central government will take an action and prosecute any officer connected to the affairs of the company. So now it is the auditor's duty to provide the required assistance, okay, for the prosecution. Auditor has to help and provide the required details for the prosecution. Okay, but if auditor does not cooperate in this prosecution of a guilty officer, okay, if he does not cooperate, then the auditor, he also will be held criminally liable along with the officer. Okay, officer is held guilty, and for that, in order to carry out the prosecution, the central government has what he prosecutes any officer, isn't it? So if the auditor does not assist in this prosecution of a guilty officer, then it is assumed that even the auditor may be involved. So that is, auditor will be held criminally liable for not assisting the prosecution of a guilty officer, and in this case there might be an imprisonment of 6 months, and also there might be a fine of rupees 5,000, either one, or in case both will be there. Okay, there is a fine of 500 rupees. At the same time, there might be a imprisonment of 6 months as well. Okay, so it is duty of the auditor to assist prosecution of guilty officer, and in case if he does not do so, then he will be held criminally liable for the same. That is under section 242. Okay, then under section 477, an auditor, he has to return the property, books and paper. He cannot retain any of the property, books or papers that is belonging to the organization. Okay, so when the company is winding up or the company has closed down, okay, in that case the court may direct the auditor of the company who is known for suspecting to be in possession, that is auditor having the certain properties of the organization or certain books or papers of the organization in his possession. Okay, so the court will direct the auditor to appear before the court, and he has to return the same. Okay, that is in the when the company was winding up, whatever property, everything is belong to the company only. Auditor is not supposed to retain with him any of the books. He is actually verifying the books of account, but the books does not belong to him. He is not supposed to keep any books or papers or document or property in his possession. And if he does so, if he take the possession of any property, or if he takes any books or papers in his custody, that is auditor, then the court may ask him to appear before the court and return the same. Okay, and in case if he fails to return the property or the paper, whatever was there in his custody, then he can be arrested. Okay, this is just a sort of warning given to the auditor that whatever belongs to the company, it should be returned to the company. Auditor is not supposed to keep in his custody any property or document belonging to the company. And if it does so, then he has to appear before the court, where he will be directed that he should return the required details or the properties of the company to them. And in case if he does not do so, then he may be arrested. And once if he is arrested, definitely there might be a fine, and at the same time he may also be jailed for the offense that he has done. Okay, so here also he is held criminally liable for keeping in his possession the property or books or any document belonging to the company. The next is public examination of auditor by the High Court. Okay, this is under section 478. Okay, now when the company is winding up, okay, and at that time, if the official liquidator finds out that auditor has committed some fraud, and if he is found guilty, okay, if the auditor has committed a fraud and if he has found guilty, definitely he will be publicly examined by the High Court. Okay, so whatever notes he has written down while examining the books of account, that is while carrying out the audit, same those evidences can be used against him. Okay, see, he has prepared the notes so that he can carry out the audit, but thing is that if he is found guilty and the notes that he has prepared can help as a evidence against him, definitely it will be used by the High Court. Okay, so here the even if the auditor officers in the organization, if they are found guilty, definitely a prosecution might be there. But even if the auditor is found guilty, there can be public examination. Okay. Similarly, the next is for falsification of book. Okay, so if same way while winding up the company, when the company is closing down, that is when winding up process take place. So if the auditor has destroyed or altered any books, alter in the sense he might have changed certain books or papers that is actually belonging to the company. Okay, and these changes are done, or this destruction is the auditor is destroying the papers or certain documents with the intention of committing fraud. Okay, or to betray any of the person of the organization. So in that case, he becomes punishable. Okay, understood. So if auditor is found guilty, if he destroys or alters, or if he hide any of the books, or if there is any falsification of books or papers or securities, okay, which is belonging to the company, then definitely auditor is punishable. And here the term of imprisonment can be 7 years, and which may extend also. Okay, 7 years, and it can also be more than 7 years. Plus, there also can be a fine. Okay, so this is for falsification of book. That is, if he destroys or hides or changes any of the books or papers or securities, okay, of that which belongs to the company. Then we have prosecution under 545. So in this case, here also the case is same. The company is winding up. Okay. So even here, if the auditor is found guilty of any criminal offense, okay, if he has committed any criminal offense, the court may ask the liquidator to prosecute the auditor. Okay. Or at times he may also ask to refer this matter. That is, since the auditor is found guilty of criminal offense, the court may refer the matter to the registrar of the company. So that possibility also is there. Okay, understood. The next is penalty for deliberate act of commission or omission, that is under section 628. Okay. Now here, if an auditor makes a false statement, okay, if he gives a false statement in any of the report or certificate or statement or any other document, okay, which is required for the purpose of Companies Act, okay. So in this case, the report is actually very important, okay. It's material, what we call material, in the sense we call it as very significant or very important. So if he gives a wrong report, or else if he omits any material fact, so omits in the sense if he leaves out, if he does not give a report. So in case if he knows that if has given a statement which is false, and he is aware that the statement is false, but still he has included it in the company's report, or if he tries to omit any of the report knowing that that is significant, that is material, but still if he omits it, then definitely the auditor is held liable for criminal prosecution. Okay, so here he can be imprisoned for a term of 2 years. That is, the punishment will be an imprisonment for 2 years, and there can also be fine. Okay, so auditor, they are not supposed to hide any facts. They are not supposed to give any sort of false statement. So if at all they do, they will be uh, held guilty, that is liable for prosecution, and there can be penalty for such deliberate act, in the sense intentionally they are doing it. They are aware that certain statement that they have given, the report or certificate or statement, which is wrong, they are aware of it, or they may not include any important fact which they know that it is very important. So this deliberate act, that is intentionally, purposefully they are doing this, then they will be held liable for criminal prosecution. Okay, understood. Next, criminal liability of an auditor under Indian Penal Code. Now here in this case, what happens? Like this is a criminal liability of an auditor under Indian Penal Code. Here, auditor, if he signs or if he issues any statement, okay, which is considered as false, and the auditor is aware of this, he knows, and if he believes that such certificate is false in any material point, he is aware that the things included in the certificate or any document, it is false, he knows, he is aware of it, okay, and by which the law is an admissible evidence. The certificate is by law, it is an admissible evidence. But still, if the auditor signs it, okay, then he can be held criminally liable. Okay, he will be liable under for criminal prosecution. Understood? Next, criminal liabilities of an auditor under Income Tax Act 1961. Okay. Now here there are cases where an auditor, he can be held liable. Okay. Now what are the different circumstances under which an auditor can be held liable? That is under Income Tax Act 1961. Okay. So this is connection with the returns. Okay. The returns need to be filed, isn't it? So when the returns are filed, so if an act of an auditor where he can be held liable for criminal prosecution. So what are the circumstances we will go through? So first one, as you can see, auditor, he can be convicted of an office in connection to tax proceeding. Okay. So if an auditor, he has been convicted of an offense in the connection with some tax proceeding, then he will be disqualified from representing as a client for a certain period of time. Okay, he cannot represent as an SSC here because he has been convicted of an offense in connection with some tax proceeding. Okay, so he has been disqualified, and what will be the period of disqualification? That will be decided by the Commissioner of Income Tax. Okay, so if he is convicted of an offense with some which is connected to tax proceeding, definitely he will be disqualified from representing as an assessee. That is the client. Okay. Not only that, auditor, he can also be imprisoned for a period of 2 years if he intentionally submits any false statement in the form of accounts while the income tax returns are prepared. Okay, so the auditor, if he submits any false statement in the form of accounts, okay, when he is preparing for the income tax return, and he knows that the statement that he has given, that he has included in the accounts is wrong, intentionally, but still if he submits it, then he'll be held liable for criminal prosecution. He'll be imprisoned for 2 years. Okay, understood? And the third one is that if an auditor, if he induces any person, okay, compels any person, forces any person, induces means forces any person in any manner, okay, to make or to deliver a false statement, okay, to give out a false statement to the income tax authorities, okay. So here also, if he is compelling a person to give a false statement, to deliver a false statement to the income tax authorities, then he is liable for criminal prosecution. Okay, who? The auditor. Auditor will be held liable for criminal prosecution. So these are the criminal liabilities of an auditor under the Income Tax Act 1961. The next is criminal liabilities of an auditor under Chartered Accountant Act 1949. Okay, so in this case, under section 29 of the Chartered Accountant Act 1949, if a person is not a chartered accountant, but still if he acts as an auditor of a company, okay, he is not a chartered accountant, he has not got the certificate of chartered accountant, but still if he acts as an auditor, okay, and if he takes up the audit of any company and signs any of the document, then he is considered, he is liable for criminal prosecution. You understand? A chartered accountant, we have seen what are the requirements for being for auditing the books of account of a company. What are the requirements? What are the qualifications of an auditor? Okay, so if he is not an auditor, but still if he pretends, if he acts as an auditor and sign any of the document, definitely he is liable for criminal prosecution. So punishment can be up to 1,000 for on first conviction, and also there can be an imprisonment which may extend up to 6 month, or then also can be fine which is extending to rupees 5,000, and in times it can be both. Okay, understood? The next is under part 3 of the first schedule of the Chartered Accountants, okay, Act 1949. If any of the member of the institute, he will be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct. Okay, a member of the institute, he'll be deemed to be the guilty of professional misconduct. When will this take place? When this he'll be considered as guilty of professional misconduct is that if the member of the institute, if he includes any statements which he knows that it's not true, it is false, the statement is false, the return is false, okay, or any form that he has submitted to the council, and he knows, he is aware of that the statement or the return that he has submitted is false, but still he has submitted, okay, then he is considered to be guilty of professional misconduct. Okay, again, if the member does not supply any information called, okay, the council, they may require some information and they may have asked, but if the member of the institute does not supply the information that is called, or if they does not comply with the requirements asked for by the council, so any requirement of the council is not fulfilled by any, that's the member or any of its committee member, if they do not fulfill the requirement of the council, okay, so it's here, it is clearly that it's a guilty of the member, is they are considered guilty of professional misconduct. Okay, understood? So these are the criminal liabilities of an auditor under Chartered Accountant Act. Okay, so students, here we have completed the liabilities of a auditor. So rights you have understood, duties you have understood, and these were the topics that we discussed now today are the liabilities of the company auditor. Okay, so students, we will stop here today, and in the next class we are going to discuss about the auditor's report. Okay, very important question, auditor's report, frequently asked in the semester exams. Okay, so thank you dear students and have a great day ahead.